Welcome to this presentation. The topic of the presentation today is Introduction to toICH GCP. Everybody who is directly or indirectly participating in clinical trial should be well versed with the toICH GCP guidelines so that the conduct of the study is more ethical and data which is generated from clinical trial is accepted globally. The outline of my presentation will be as follows. I will start with some important definition which are commonly used in toICH GCP. Then briefly I will describe some of the important historical events which led to the formulation of toICH GCP guideline. Then I will cover the concept of GCP. This will be followed by the detailed description of the purpose and objective of toICH GCP guidelines. Next, I will be covering the elements of toICH GCP. This elements will be followed by golden rules of GCP. Then the next part of my talk will cover the progress of guidelines, and finally at the end of my presentation I will conclude the topic of toICH GCP. Considering few general questions will help us in better understanding of toICH GCP guidelines for conducting clinical research. These general questions are: what is toICH? What does it do? What is GCP and what it is for? And why should we implement GCP in carrying out the clinical trials in human subject? The term toICH stands for International Conference on Harmonization, while the GCP stands for Good Clinical Practices. The toICH is the International Conference on Harmonization of the technical requirements for the registration of the pharmaceuticals for human use, and GCP is the Good Clinical Practices guideline which are agreed at these conferences time to time. Coming to the definition, the toICH definition of GCP is: it is a standard for the design, conduct, performance, monitoring, auditing, recording, analyzing and reporting of clinical trial that provides assurance that the data and reported results are credible and accurate, and that the right, integrity, and confidentiality of clinical trial participants are protected. This is given in ICH section E6 1.24. Year 2005. Coming to the aim of developing ICH GCP guidelines, it is mainly aimed to develop an international ethical and scientific quality standard for designing, conducting, recording and reporting of clinical trial which involves the participation of human subject. Secondly, it provides public assurance that the right, safety and well-being of clinical trial subjects are well protected during the clinical trial. It is consistent with Declaration of Helsinki, and the results which are obtained by the clinical trial which is conducted as per ICH GCP guidelines provides a credible data which is accurate. The Declaration of Helsinki will be covered in the latter part of this talk. Now let us see what is Declaration of Helsinki. Actually, this is one of the very important landmark events which led to the development of various guidelines, especially to protect the well-being and safety of human subjects, those who are participating in a clinical trial. In 1964 June, it was first adopted. Then there were subsequent amendment which was held in Tokyo 1975. In 1983 there was amendment which was held in the meeting in Venice. 1989 in Hong Kong meeting there was another amendment. 1996 it was in South Africa. The amendment which was done in year 2000 in the meeting which was held in Scotland, United Kingdom, contributed in very significant principles to Declaration of Helsinki. And then there was another amendment in year 2004 after the meeting which was held in Tokyo. Coming to a brief history of GCP, in early 1960s there was a widespread concern about the safety and control of investigational drug and the process of clinical research amongst the member of medical profession, the scientific community, regulatory authorities and amongst the general public. Subsequently, in year 1968, World Health Organization has convened a scientific group meeting on principles of clinical drug evaluation, and the scientific group was charged with reviewing and formulating the principle for the clinical drug development of the various products. In 1975, there was another WHO scientific group meeting which was especially considering all the aspects of the evaluation of testing of drugs and to finally formulate a proposal and develop various guidelines for clinical research in the field of drug development. In year 1980, the European Union started harmonization of the regulatory requirement of drug development amongst the member countries which are there in European Union. First time in year 1989, World Health Organization invited a conference of drug regulatory authorities in Paris and started the harmonization process between Europe, United States and Japan. The first meeting of International Conference on Harmonization was held in Brussels in April 1990. Then subsequently there were biennial meetings which were held in different places in the world. In 1991 it held in Brussels. Orlando it was held in 1993. In 1995 it was held in Japan. Again it was held in Brussels in 1997, and in 2000 it was held in San Diego in United States. The Indian GCP was developed in year 2001 and subsequently it was amended and made law